Welcome to Context 101. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon for more breaking updates. Good evening from London, where the city's lights flicker against a backdrop of uncertainty and anticipation. Tonight, we stand at the edge of a geopolitical earthquake. 2 EU member states are in secret, advanced talks to join the BRICS economic bloc. This unprecedented development is sending shockwaves through diplomatic circles and financial markets alike. Such a move could fracture the Western alliance, upending decades of established order and signaling the rise of a truly multipolar world. The very foundation of the European Union, once thought unshakable, is now being challenged in ways few could have predicted. Economic stagnation, soaring inflation, and the ongoing war in Ukraine have left Europe searching for alternatives. Across the continent, citizens and leaders alike are grappling with uncertainty, as old certainties give way to new realities. The global debt crisis and a growing sense that Western-led systems are failing have made BRICS, representing nearly half the world's population and a rising share of global GDP, increasingly attractive to those seeking a new path forward. As covert meetings unfold behind closed doors, the future of the international order hangs in the balance. The decisions made in these rooms could reshape alliances and redraw the map of global power. Over the next hour, we'll explore the history of BRICS, the motivations behind this dramatic pivot, and the far-reaching consequences for the world as we know it. This is a moment of profound change, a turning point in world history. Understanding it is not just important, but essential for anyone who wants to grasp the forces shaping our future. To grasp today's news, we must understand BRICS's transformation from an investment acronym to a geopolitical powerhouse. Originally, Brazil, Russia, India, and China, the Bloc added South Africa in 2010 and, by 2025, expanded to include Egypt, Ethiopia, Indonesia, Iran, and the UAE. BRICS built its own financial institutions, like the New Development Bank, and launched initiatives to bypass Western systems, such as the BRICS Cross-Border Payments Initiative. With nearly 48% of the world's population and almost 40% of global GDP, PPP, BRICS now rivals the G7. Its expansion has made it the leading voice for the Global South, pushing for a multipolar world order. Now 2 EU nations seek to join this ambitious expanded bloc. The stakes could not be higher. Why would EU members consider joining a bloc led by America's rivals? The answer lies in economic desperation and strategic calculation. Europe faces sluggish growth, deindustrialization, and the financial burden of the Ukraine war. The US has become more protectionist, leaving Europe feeling vulnerable and isolated. BRICS offers access to vast markets, critical resources, and investment, without Western political strings attached. Frustration with the inflexibility of current international systems is growing. BRICS's consensus-based model and respect for sovereignty appeal to those disillusioned with Brussels and Washington. For some, joining BRICS is a gamble for greater influence and autonomy. It's a risky bet on a new future. The journey toward BRICS has been shrouded in secrecy. Senior diplomats from the 2 EU nations began back-channel talks with India and Brazil in late 2025. Discreet meetings at the G20 and a series of unofficial documents laid the groundwork for a special associate member status. The goal: access to BRICS's economic initiatives without immediate political entanglements. All eyes are now on the upcoming India-EU and BRICS summits, where the applications may be formally presented. The negotiations are delicate. Russia and China must be convinced this isn't a Trojan horse for Western influence. If successful, this move could legitimize BRICS as a truly global institution. 2 EU economies joining BRICS would shake the global financial system. It would challenge the dollar-centric order and validate BRICS's de-dollarization agenda. The announcement alone could trigger currency volatility and strengthen BRICS currencies. For the EU nations, the lure is access to new markets, BRICS financial infrastructure, and funding from the New Development Bank without IMF-style austerity. Participation in BRICS initiatives could stabilize supply chains and diversify economic dependencies. But the move would strain the EU's single market, creating legal and regulatory chaos. Trade diversions and competitive disadvantages could follow, risking a domino effect of EU fragmentation. The economic gamble is enormous. Politically, this move could shatter the EU's unity and credibility. Emergency summits and threats of isolation would follow as Brussels scrambles to respond. The EU's foreign policy and security stance would be undermined, especially regarding Russia. NATO could face internal conflict if its members align with BRICS. Nationalist and populist movements would seize the moment, fueling instability and calls for more exits. The US would see this as a betrayal, likely imposing penalties and deepening the rift. For China and Russia, it's a propaganda coup, proof of the West's decline. Experts offer starkly different views on this seismic shift, each interpreting the motivations and consequences through their own unique lens. Dr. Anja Schmidt of the European Council on Foreign Relations calls it a desperate act of economic self-preservation, not an ideological turn. She argues that, for many European leaders, the move is less about forging a new world order and more about finding a lifeline amid mounting economic pressures and uncertainty. She says, "These nations see BRICS as an escape valve, not an alliance against the West." In her view, the partnership is pragmatic, a way to hedge bets and diversify options rather than a declaration of opposition. Retired US diplomat James Albright warns, "This is the most significant challenge to the transatlantic alliance in decades. You can't ride two horses at once." He cautions that such a move could strain long-standing relationships and create deep divisions within Europe itself. The move, he argues, will force a painful choice and threaten European and global security. Albright believes that the uncertainty could embolden rivals and weaken the collective strength of Western alliances. Dr. Kenji Tanaka, former Asian Development Bank chief economist, highlights the risk to the dollar's dominance. He points out that the global financial system is already under strain, and this shift could accelerate existing vulnerabilities. Every major economy trading outside the dollar chips away at its foundation. The more countries that seek alternatives, the more fragile the dollar's position becomes. 2 EU economies in BRICS would accelerate this trend. Tanaka suggests that this could mark the beginning of a new era in global finance, with unpredictable consequences for markets everywhere. The result, a more fragmented, volatile global financial system, where old certainties no longer apply and new risks emerge. Professor Adewale Adebayo of the University of Lagos sees opportunity. He believes that this realignment could empower regions long sidelined in global affairs. For the Global South, this is a balancing act, a world where Europe is an independent pole, not just an extension of US policy. Adebayo envisions a more inclusive system where emerging economies have a stronger voice. Many in Africa, Asia, and Latin America welcome a multipolar world. For them, the shifting alliances offer hope for fairer trade, greater investment, and a seat at the table. For Europe, the risks are high. For the Global South, it's validation. The stakes are enormous, and the outcomes remain uncertain. The world's chessboard is being reset, and every move now carries global consequences. This shift will deeply divide societies in the 2 EU nations. Supporters see BRICS as a path to jobs and prosperity, especially for exporters and nationalists seeking sovereignty. Opponents, especially youth and civil society, view it as a betrayal of European identity and democratic values. Expect mass protests and a societal schism that could paralyze politics. Across the EU, anger and anxiety will rise as the principle of free movement and unity is threatened. Universities and cultural ties may shift eastward, with more students and exchanges involving BRICS countries. The choice is about more than economics. It's about values, identity, and the future. The social fabric of these nations will be forever changed. We end where we began, at a historic crossroads. The world stands at a pivotal moment, echoing the uncertainty and hope that have defined so many turning points in history. Two EU nations in talks to join BRICS mark the end of the unipolar era and the birth of a contested, multipolar world. This move signals a dramatic shift in global alliances, as old certainties give way to new possibilities. For the EU, it's an existential crisis. The very fabric of its unity and influence is being tested as never before. For the US, a warning. The shifting balance of power challenges its leadership and compels a rethinking of its global strategy. For BRICS, a triumph with new challenges. Expansion brings opportunity, but also the risk of internal divisions and competing interests. Can BRICS maintain cohesion with such diverse members? The answer is uncertain, and the stakes could not be higher for the future of global cooperation. The two EU nations are gambling with their future, risking isolation from old allies and suspicion from new partners. Their decision could redefine their place in the world for generations. The world is watching. Will this be a masterstroke or a blunder? Every headline, every statement is scrutinized for clues about what comes next. The decisions made in the coming months will shape the century. The clock is ticking, and history is being written in real time. This moment demands clear-eyed analysis and engagement. The choices of today will echo far into the future, affecting lives across continents. The world is being remade, and every citizen has a stake in what comes next. Good night from London.